This week in comic books, they just kind of just ruined this whole Harley Quinn thing for me. Over in the land of Marvels, I only picked up one Marvel book, so I can't talk about it now because I just ruin it now, and you won't watch the promo that's going to happen next. Also, in Independence this week, got a lot of Independence. That's got a pretty huge stack of books this week. Let's jump into it, but first, let's pay a bill or two. Let's make $2.15. Hey weirdos, do you ever find it hard to get going in the morning? Do you need a swift kick in the butt to get your day started? I find a good cup of coffee helps me supercharge my evil genius ways and motivates my villainy. Coffee Brand Coffee is the perfect start to my dastardly day. They offer multiple roasts and flavors, teas and cocos, while you sit by the fire and watch all your enemies burn. Go to Coffee Brand Coffee today and use promo code POCANJOE and save 10%. Coffee Brand Coffee. No gimmicks, just coffee. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? Welcome back to another week of some new comic books, which means another haul and review. And as we said in the beginning, we'll just jump right off to DC and we'll talk about the elephant in the room. First, this is Harley Quinn's 30th anniversary. And I could have sworn that we just had, like in springtime, one of these collective stories with Harley Quinn, along with all the rest of the Batman Rogue things. Am I missing something? It's not a book that I keep. I did get the 1 in 25 cover with that. And then, like, there was much better covers. So all right, so basically, what do we got here? This is some self-absorbed garbage in here. I'm sorry. The only one that was actually somewhat entertaining, and I hate to put it this way, but it's when the Suicide Squad killed Harley Quinn.
Why, Tracy? Why?
That should have just been the story and just done with it. Most of these stories are basically based around manipulation of a friend because you're doing the right thing. First off, any type of manipulation is wrong. Period. Like, even if you're trying to get the person to do the right thing, making yourself bad doesn't make you the hero. It just makes you a bad person and a good outcome happen. Right? That was horrible. And also just more, this whole entire thing was just Harley Quinn's obsession with being codependent to other people. Non-stop. And I was just like, you can do better, as the kids would say today. You can do better. All right, moving on. Something I did like. So we got World's Finest. We get our first introduction to Boy Thunder. Usually they say something like Thunder Boy. I don't know why they flipped it around in this one, but whatever the case, maybe there's a character already named that. Regardless, this is kind of his origin story and first appearance with a new arc here. And I tell you what, it's kind of a heartbreaking story. Like, you generally feel sad for this character. He comes from circumstances that are very similar to Superman's. He has to leave his world. Parents put him on a ship. He's slightly older than Superman was, and then sends him through the dimension, right, to land here on Earth. Wormhole stuff, right? Comic book. Their way is woo-woo, but I mean, we do believe this kind of stuff can happen. So it kind of shoots through. He lands on Earth and knows that his family and his parents and everything's gone, and then realizes that, hey, in this dimension, right, he's got family here, and then he realizes that they don't really know who he is because their Thunder Boy died at the age of 3, and he kind of made this very awkward introduction to them, which kind of really hurt them, right? And I was just like, oh, that's powerful. Like, that's, oh, can you imagine? Right? So now Superman and Batman are kind of debating which one should have to take care of the kid and play the daddy role. And Robin's like, I got an idea. And shoots him over to the Teen Titans and is like, hey, we're all dysfunctional teenagers here. Welcome to the club. We don't need parents here. We're Titans. So as funny as that is what happened. So now who's going to take care of this kid? We also get a quick glimpse at our villain, and I'm liking this. We have a villain that's been starving somebody for a while and puts food just out of reach of this person. It's the Keymaster of Gotham. I think that's a new villain. I don't know. If you do, I was out of comic books for a while, jumped back in. I've been going consistently now since 2016. I've never heard of this character. So if I'm missing something, let me know in the comments down below. I want it to be a new villain because it's so sadistic that we actually have a villain as being a villain. I've talked way too much on that one. Let's move on to our next one. All right. Oh, I want to love this. I really do want to love this. Like, I want to be its fan. I want to sing its praises upon the mountain to the people below. But I can't. I can't. This is just not as exciting as the first one. If you don't know, this is Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face story. Two-Face stories are extremely predictable. It's always Two-Face. So if Harvey Dent brings something to you, like a letter that says it's going to kill Harvey Dent's father, you should know that that's Two-Face doing that, because we believe that Two-Face has a split personality because one side of his face is messed up. This book did kind of clear that up, and I thought that was really cool that Harvey Dent doesn't suffer from two different personalities. Harvey Dent and Two-Face are the same person, and I thought that was an interesting concept. Usually they do their best to make it this kind of, he's really a good guy over here, can't do no wrong, where the other side does nothing but wrong. And knowing that everything in between is what humanity really is. This kind of broke that down a little bit. Vaguely, I wish they kind of dove into that just a little bit more. It would have been, whereas it was predictable, you could still add some interest to it. Oh, I really wanted that. I hope the writer of this kind of goes in depth on that. Poetically, kills his father by allowing his father to kill himself. Right? That was kind of interesting, and even scarred up half of his face. I don't know how eating a piece of cake with some acids in it can only attack one side of the face. Woo-woo, right? Comic book woo-woo, but still, nevertheless. So yeah, I'm going to have to put this in the, I didn't really much care for it. Yes, one interesting thing doesn't justify the entire book, unfortunately. Sorry. Hopefully they do something cool next. All right, so right off the cusp of the whole Black Flag, Acetate Gate, CGC debacle that happened out there, DC was like, hey guys, this is what an acetate cover should be like, and gave us this. 2 staples in it, the whole 9 yards. If you don't know about that, to do a quick search. Everybody should know about that. All right, so if you've been reading Deceased, you kind of already know. Supergirl's now one of the anti-life equation zombie characters, right? We're just piling on bad, right? Darkseid is too, and they got like the whole new realm, the new gods infected as well. So you got all these god-powered beings that are now space zombies that are filled with an anti-life equation as well. How can you make this more terrifying? Well, you use terror itself. You give Darkseid, you don't give, he takes. Darkseid takes a Yellow Lantern's ring from Sinestro. If you don't know what the yellow, they're the guys, so like green's willpower, yellow is fear. And now he has the power of basically a lantern on top of everything else. So I'm not sure. This is, God, I love it when the majority of a comic book arc that happens, when it's just nothing but you're going to get stomped out because we're just going to throw everything we possibly can at you, because this requires the heroes to do something outside of the box in most cases. And you have to think outside of a two-dimensional story and really create that little juicy bits, add a little outsmartness, determination, goal, and team building, right? We know they're going to win some way, shape, or form, but we also know that the world's going to be completely changed. And I really enjoyed that. That's a good acetate cover there. All right, moving on. The only Marvel book I picked up this week, and honest to God, the only reason why I picked it up is Scotty Young, right? Mama likes Scotty Young, Mama gets a Scotty Young. All right, so what is this like? This is like the trailer park version of the Kardashians, but give them superpowers, knowing that they're going to marry into a middle class situation and become weekend wine mom Karens. Beautiful one. That's basically this book. Alright, so I'll explain better. So basically 3 of our characters, Dazzler and her 2 Slay Queen girlfriends, right, are basically just battling out in this. They're finding a reason to hook up and go out and spend time together doing things at a dive bar. I say doing things, all they did was yak at one another. I guess talk. But anyway, worst case scenario, somebody plums them into like some sort of death game where one has in a sewer and has to escape a bunch of vampire monster zombie thingies. Jubilee has to drive around in a redneck pickup truck because trailer park. I honestly don't know. And of course, Dazzler has got her own little thing, maze thing she has to go through too. Everything's just slay queen. Now, I know it sounds like I'm not giving this book any compliments, but this thing was so on the nose that it was hilarious. And of course, at the end, we get ourselves a little X-23 showing up for the girl party fun. I thought this was funny. Like, I hope it was meant to be funny, because I definitely find out that the writer's like, no, this is a serious take on woman empowerment. I'm just going to be like, oh, yeah, no, your shit's a comedy. it's so funny. A lot of snarky little sayings. You remember Mean Girls? To maybe like all the little snarky sayings? All that's in here. So, yeah, it's stereotypical. All right, next, Independence. And Bubba, I got quite a few of these, so we're going to run through these for you because we're already at 10 minutes. So, Vanish. All right, here's how the best way I've described Vanish. Take Hogwarts, stick it in Gotham, where all the characters end up being characters in The Boys. Boom. And the roles are, of course, going to be reversed in this, where our heroes are actually villains from the past, but now they're heroes. And the kid that should be the hero has to be their villain to beat them. So the perspective from the audience side, right, is, oh, the villain, right, is this guy that stands alone and he's just picking on the heroes, when it's actually roles reversed. Love the art in this. It was just nonstop action. I love the depiction of magic and how it works in this, if that makes any sense. And I just love the grittiness of it. So I really enjoy this. Pick of the week. Like, it was really hard because I really liked something else for me to come up with this. And I only want one pick of the week. The one book I would say, hey, if you read this, you may enjoy it. And I'm comfortable with saying that with this particular book. I'm going to start doing that. I don't like recommending books, but I know if something really stands out to me, hopefully it resonates with you. So I would definitely probably read this. This is good. It's good. Very well written. Wow. All right, next, Weird Mystery. So before I took I saw the cover, I was like, oh, spaceships, aliens, right? It's getting close to Halloween, so we should be getting a lot of those anthologies with a bunch of scary stories in it. Sure, I didn't see the fact that it's an Archie book. So, and I really didn't catch it was an Archie book until I got about halfway through it, and I was like, why do these characters act like Betty and all those characters? Oh, because it's them. I didn't read the front. And then in some other cases, like, I didn't recognize anybody in this. So what's this all about? So again, this is where we're taking the scary story of somebody with ambition that's a little over obsession. Like, they're going beyond what you should do ethically in most cases. From a shape-shifting alien, Betty's chasing it down, to elixirs that will keep you young forever, right? That obsession to stay young. And even the obsession of beauty, turning you where you just want to be noticed as beautiful, and you end up going past that ethical line or that moral line, and eventually becoming invisible where nobody sees you. Good messaging, right? But an Archie story is not really my thing. But I did enjoy it for what it was. All right, Stuff of Nightmares. So this was good. This was another good one. So again, we're doing the thing, right? The trend right now is have a creepy host, like the Crypt Keeper, who we'll talk about in a minute, or Elvira, to kind of introduce you to a story. In this particular one, our mysterious character, the curator of oddities, if you will, mentions the fact that he has a severed hand from William Seward. If you don't know who William Seward was, you kind of do. So the night that Abraham Lincoln was about to be assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, most people don't know this, but it was actually a coordinated attack to attack several politicians during that time, including the head of state, who kind of spearheaded a lot of Lincoln's work during the same night. And his name was William Seward. However, the assassination attempt did fail. He did end up dying later. And the whole thing about body parts in here and people stealing body parts, that's a thing. Like Lincoln's body has been stolen before. That's right. That's weird. People do that. But getting back into the story itself, this kind of walks along that line where we have somebody again with this obsession with, creating life, and some nosy lovers that can't keep to their own business, getting involved in it and want to know everybody's business. And of course, it's monsters. That's the business. Making monsters. And killing anybody that tries to step in the way, because, there's the question of, is this right? Is this the correct thing to do? Is this moral? Where are we at with this? I enjoyed it. It was just a great story. The art is, it's chintzy art, right? It's not like super highly stylized. Not that I'm judging the art, I'm just calling it for what it is. Comparatively to the other books that I've read, it's pretty simplistic artwork. But the story was good, and I really liked it. And it seemed like something that, that could be considered simplistic, but there's always that thing there that makes it elevated at the same time. And the monologue in here of justification for their actions is great, and I love that. Next, we brought back a classic. We keep talking about Crypt Show and the Crypt Keeper telling us stories. Boom! We are back at it. Crypt's back with 2.5 stories. One of them looks like it's going to be a continuation. It is gory, and it is not for the young kids. There's literally kids getting ripped apart in this. It's, I'm not even going to show it on camera. But again, we got, that obsession, or greed in this one is really more than obsession. We got greed going on here from kids not understanding that when it says take one on the Halloween candy porch bowl, right, you should take one. Otherwise, something's going to rip you apart and eat your face. Right? Or we can go on to a mother who's spiteful over a divorce and a husband that's just lazy and doesn't catch the meaning of anything. Them going back and forth at each other to the point where they hire a demon to celebrate their daughter's birthday because they couldn't find anything else. Right? That was a weird one. And then this kind of weird one at the end where it looks like a guy's trying to hide his wife's body, or somebody's talking to him from a hole that he just dug. They didn't really explain it well, and there was no real lead into it, which was kind of weird. Right? That's always the thing with the Crypt Keeper, to kind of introduce the story before it comes in. It didn't really happen in this one, so I'm hoping the next one that comes out will explain it. And I always love Creep Show. That's just good classic horror comic books. So, Beware of the Eye of Odin. Beware of the Eye of Odin. Came out. This is the last issue for this arc, and we got a hint that we may be getting another arc. This ended exactly the way that it started. High action, high volume art, great dialogue, doesn't get too complicated into like the Nordic storytelling or anything like that.
Is quality.
And even at the end we find out that Odin was with them the entire time for a little twist ending into it to lead them into their next adventure. If you didn't read this, you may get it in a trade, check it out, definitely, or just get it in the dollar bin, because I promise you that's where it's going to end up. It's just not it wasn't like highly publicized like other comic books. And I mean, you get a comic book when you buy these. Good stuff. All right, last but not least, another favorite of mine, 20th Century Men, and I want to clarify this. This is not your stereotypical comic book. It has hints and traits of a comic book in it, but this does not read like a standard comic book. Even the art in it is slightly off to the eye a little bit, in a good point to where I would like it. Basically, this is just playing with alternate history. We're dealing with geopolitics, spying, the average grunt soldier, and the reporting on it. And how does all this work? And how do conflicts actually build up before the war actually kicks off? A lot of that stuff's probably closer to the truth than than anybody that you vote for will admit. So that's my haul for this week. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, go buy coffee, brand coffee. Make sure you use the Pocan Joe promo code in it. Get yourself 10% off. You deserve it, just so you know. And of course, links down below, and my merch shop is down there as well. So guys, that's it. I will see you guys soon. Bye.